Hi, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today I want to talk about the concept of black and white, hot and cold, good and bad, good and evil. It's just a very interesting thing because it really gets me to run away from, I guess, what I want to do because I'm nervous and worried about what someone's going to think and what somebody's going to say. That's why for me, I don't know what it is, but these past couple of months, I've been having this deep inspiration in me to like, dude, just post more videos. Just do it, make it happen. I've been holding back, worried about what someone's going to think, what someone's going to say. And this is a very interesting topic for me to talk about because it comes down to what it is that we all like to do on this planet today. There's a side that you got to stick with. There's no such thing as being in the middle. And that's, I'm going to say, like, just don't take this the wrong way. But my life experience has proven to me. So this is where each of our life experience is going to maybe be different. But I'm going to say something that may be weird for someone to hear. My life experience has proven to me that there's not just one side, there's the in-between, because I am a representation of that. I am a representation of the baby that was born from my parents, one being black as can black, and one being pale and white as can be. They ended up with something in between. So I grew up seeing the in-between, and I grew up seeing both sides. One side way over there, one side way over there, and I realized my entire life has been right in the middle. And even with, say, traits and habits and genetic makeup of me, I swing towards the middle. There's some of me that swings towards my mom's side. There's some of me that swings towards my dad's side. And it puts me to be right in the middle where I am. Sometimes I'm a little bit on my mom's side more. Other times I'm a little bit more on my dad's side more. Doesn't mean that I am now all of what my dad is. I'm not. I'm half my mom still. I'll never be 100% of my dad. And the same thing with the opposite side of that. I will always be a mixture of it all. And sometimes I can use and utilize more of one side than the other side, but I have a balance, the balance point of the dogs, right in the middle, right dead set in the middle as far as my all day, everyday being. I state that because I'm just going to talk dog training. Because it's like no one can see that there could be a balance. And I'm not talking balance training. I'm talking a balance of, say, let's put it this way, make it simple. Parenting style. If you are a permissive parent, then you are a permissive parent. That's not true. On the extreme, yeah. There's people that are only, that's it, that's all that's there. But most people, like 99.99% of people, are going to swing between, say, an authoritarian, not Tarian, if compared to a permissive. You are going to swing. You're going to swing between, depending on where you need to go, what you need to make happen. This is called healthy. This is called what I want to use these words, but it may not be appropriate. This is what's normal. What's unnormal, what's unhealthy is to go to the extreme and stay on one side. That's unhealthy. You're not being able to get the full spectrum of what's going on in life in general. You're going to be missing out on some beautiful aspects of life if you're only focused that I got to only be this side. This is a thing that someone said something on a video that really got me thinking about this, and especially with how we are as a people today. How the way I talk, so I kind of want to do a demonstration. The big thing I want to talk about with dogs is I don't talk dog techniques, I talk dog theory. I don't want you to do what I do. I want you to hear something and come up with an idea to figure out what you want to do because my lifestyle is different than your lifestyle. But I've realized you do not have to have my lifestyle to have what it is that I'm able to do. And I do not need to have your lifestyle to be able to have what it is that you're looking for. What you're looking for is what you're looking for. What I'm looking for is what I'm looking for. And I want to, start off a theory concept of things that I do to just give a perfect example of swinging between both of these concepts. Hold on, give me a second. I gotta go pick this up real quick. I found this on the trail. Woo! That dang rat trap. Sorry, those things scare me. What do I say? Disclosure alert. It's kind of nasty, but it's not nasty. It's a deer hide that I found. And it's it was so cool. I had no choice but to take it. I was like, hey, that's mine right there. But it's a deer hide. It's weird because it was out there and it was it's dry. And it's weird because it I don't know how to explain it, but it smells fresh. It smells fresh. It's oddly like this like just earthy smell. It's just so amazing. So I would imagine it would just smell rotting and smell bad, but something happens to it that I guess that's why we make jackets out of these hides and do all that, that it'd be interesting to get one. But way off topic for half a second. But what I'm doing right now is in reality showing what it is that the theory that I go by with dog training that I do. This is a novel item for these dogs. These dogs are like, what the heck is that? They don't ever get to experience deer. This girl is always trying to find them and trying to chase the deer. This boy has almost lost his life chasing a deer. I don't think Oriole's ever even met a deer, and Shadow's never met a deer, and he sees him out on the trail, but he just doesn't chase. But this is a very novel item. It's very exciting right now. All my dogs are just all on me now. I started the video, and what were they doing? They were just doing what they were doing. But now there's something interesting, something exciting out, something just extra in the mix. And extra in the mix in a way of, I don't want my dogs to react and look like this. All I'm going to do is sit here with it, sit there. I put a rule in place. I don't want to even use a rule, but I put a boundary in place of saying, that's mine, until we can all just calm down. Am I being permissive by just saying, oh, you want it, just give it to him? No. Am I being authoritative in a sense of stating, hey, I don't look at it, you better get away from it? No. I am balancing between two concepts of life to get to a healthy medium of, that's mine for right now, guys. Until you calm down, you're for sure not touching it. And I want to get them to be just so calm that it's so neutral that they just completely disengage and go back to life as if nothing new is even in the room anymore. And when I get to that point, now that's where I can finally start to communicate. Because when they're in that heightened arousal state, I'm not communicating. I'm not able to speak. I'm not able to say anything. And that's the part of me where I could say if you go to the super one side of being permissive, you are kind of keeping that being in that heightened arousal state of just always saying yes and always just giving. You see them get, oh, I like that. And you just, oh, you can have it. Just take it. Oh, you don't want, don't do that. Just stay away from that. I know you're scared of it. That side of it, you're going to get the results that you need from what you need it from. That's what I'm going to say. Sometimes I need that. I need to be that way to be able to get something that I'm looking for. And there's other times that I'm saying, no, we can't do that. We can't make that happen. No, you're not walking to the car, to the street. No, you're not jumping out of the van when you feel like jumping out of the van. I said, no, we're not doing that. But I don't need to do it in a sense of no or else. I do it in a sense of, no, we're going to hang out. We're hanging out. We're hanging out. We're not going forward until we just stop, until we can collect our thoughts to figure out what are we going to do next. And I've just noticed, I don't know why, but I've just noticed that when I do it day after day, after time, and the biggest thing here is I stick to that boundary. I don't bend the rules with it. I don't allow the dogs to bend the rules with it. If I said no, it's a no. I don't care if they sniff it. I don't even care if they nibble on it, but they're not taking it. I don't care what they do as long as they don't take it. And that's where I'm going to say I'm going to be more on the permissive side of saying, I'm not putting this like absolute in. I'm saying, you can investigate, you can do what you do, but for now it's mine until we can settle down. And just me personally, I've got a dog here that is obsessed over smells and food. Food. She's obsessed over treats. She's obsessed over anything that she can consume. And I've been breaking a piece off of this, not every day, but every couple of days, and just giving it to him. So she knows this is a treat that I'm about to be able to consume. And when I'm giving it to her, I'm not worried about, hey, let's make this be neutral. But I've done and been doing things to try to figure out how neutral can I really get these dogs around pretty much anything that I want. And every time it gets faster. Day one, doing something like this with your dog, you've never got your dog to be able to get calm in an excitable stance, I'd have to put a leash on the dog. I'd have to put it further away to let her see it. She's probably going to pull into the leash and be looking at it and try to sniff it, and just going crazy. At some point, she's going to calm down. This is the part that a lot of people, this is the part that it works, and I see it work, but I get it. It doesn't work because there's one thing that most human beings are lacking is patience. Lacking patience. Lacking the concept of being able to do nothing. So right here, I don't care. I'm disengaged. I'm not focused on it. This is where I see a lot of things get weird because you start to focus on it. You start to focus on the dog. You stick it there. You put the dog on a leash and you're just holding the dog and you're just like both staring at it. You're not making it neutral at that moment. You're making it like, hey, this is a game. Who's going to get to it faster? I want everything to be neutral. I disengage from everything that I see that the dog is excited or fearful in. Completely disengage. If the dog is scared, I got the dog on the leash and I'm just looking over to something else like, hey, that's pretty cool over there. Completely disengaged. To get the dog to get to my level, I'm going to say, my leadership of saying, hey, maybe I should disengage too. What is over there? What's going on with that? Same with this. I want them to disengage. I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to care about it. I'm not going to have a thought about it there. I just said, don't take it. And that's all that I said. I don't need to say a word. I put it there. And if a dog tries to sniff on it, I say, not right now. They're going to eventually disengage. And they're going to disengage to the point that it becomes how I'm looking at it right now. I don't care. I don't care. This is meaningless, nothingness, absolute just worthlessness to me. And I want the dogs to view it the same way. Based on the leader that looks at it as being meaningless, then the dog is going to also say, okay, well, I guess that is pretty meaningless. But at first, the dog is going to overrule my rule. They're going to push my boundary. They're going to challenge my boundary. They're going to do anything and everything they can. Some of y'all dogs, or something like this, your dog may want to chew on you a little bit because the dog is like, you give it to me. And the dog knows you're going to give it to them. The harder and harder they keep pushing. They'll be jumping on you, scratching on you, nibbling on, doing the most. Now, I'm going to ignore all of that. All of that. I'm going to not allow the dog to be able to do any of that. I'm going to make sure that dog is knowing, I don't care how much you're nudging me. I don't care how much you're jumping on me. I don't care how much you're doing this. You are not doing that. And if that means that I got to stand up and hold the leash so that I got to hold you away a little bit to let you know we're not doing this, then I'm going to do that. But I've gotten to the point today that working especially just with this dog is I could sit for most everything today. I don't need to stand. At first I needed to stand. I got to stand here and just look over in the abyss of like, hey, you know, what's going on over there? Eventually she's going to be focused. And then she's going to say, what's going on in the abyss over there? Let me go check that out. This is the concept here that, am I doing something that is, say, being dominant? Yeah, maybe. Am I doing something that is being submissive? Yes. At the same time. How is that? That's strange, isn't it? Because our world is only set up that if you're dominant, then you're all dominant. If you're submissive, then you're only all submissive. That's all that you are. If you're a submissive person, then that's all that you can represent. This is what I want to kind of wake people up to, these concepts that people are constantly saying to you, that you have to be this way to get what you need. No, you have to be neutral. You have to be in the middle. You have to be able to be what I want to say is healthy. A healthy relationship is straight up, this word to the core. It is boring. It is not lavish. It's not flashy. It is not overexciting. It is not head over my heels. It is boring. A good, solid, healthy, amazing relationship is boring. But you know what? You know what dog training represents? It represents the concept of love bombing. Oh, look at you go. Oh, yeah, doing all this to get the dog all excited, to get the dog all jazzed up. And then you know what starts to happen after time? So say, for instance, I'll just throw it in the sense of working on your obedience at first. Oh, yeah, doing all this fun stuff and doing all this. But you know what happens? The dog eventually gets it. The dog is starting to sit. It takes a treat, it sit, and it's doing really good. And you know what happens? We don't do it as much anymore. And if anything, we don't do it at all anymore. We start off, say, with the puppy or with the new dog that you got. The first month or 3, you're doing so much with it. You're so excited about it. You're so happy with it. You're like, yeah, go, woohoo, yeah, doing all this stuff. And then 6 months later, you're like looking at the dog like, get out of my way. Why are you jumping on me right now? Stop looking at me. Get off of me right now. Get out of the room. Stop barking. Stop whining. Stop begging. So you go from love bombing to discard the dog. Then you go back to love bombing because when you see something that the dog is doing and you get a little emotional because I'm like, oh, I get this. We're all going to get that feeling. Hopefully, if you don't get this feeling, then you are to the core of what I'm talking about, a narcissist. You're going to get to that feeling of I'm doing something wrong. I need to do more again. So then you get all excited again. You load up on the treats again. You start doing it all again. You go. And then what happens? You stop again. You stop. You let it go. You fall off from doing it. Because straight up, I know this isn't just me. I know it's not just me. Especially, I used to say this as being, say, a dedicated obedience dog trainer, stating dog training in the sense of doing obedience drills all day, that's a drag to me. It's a drag to me. It's like, that to me is what I would call as work. That's work. It is work. And to do that for the next 15 years of my dog's life, I'm not going to keep up with it. So what I'm doing is getting the dog excited and then giving up on it. Getting the dog excited and then giving up on it. That's what the whole concept in terms of what narcissists do. They get you all excited to get you hooked. Once you're hooked, they stop caring about you. They stop worrying about you. They stop looking in for you. They stop doing anything at all that they used to do. And then you're sitting there like kind of begging like, well, what's going on? I'm going to almost guarantee you that every single person that is watching this video right now has had a relationship with someone in your life that has done that to you, down to maybe even your parents. Somebody in your life has done this to you, that they build you up and then they cut you off. They build you up and they cut you off. The hot, the cold, the black, the white, the good, the evil. They're coming in on side to side to side to side to side. They're not balancing to what I want to say is a healthy, medium, boring, consistent, normal, dependable, reliable, always there. They're not coming in on that sense. It's these swings that they're constantly going back and forth from. These swings. So when I am ever hearing somebody say, "Oh, look at you've been dominant in a one case, but then in another, oh, with how I talk with how I work my dogs, I'm a permissive type of person." I'm speaking to I don't want to put it like that, but I'm speaking to someone who is on the spectrum of saying is what a narcissist represents, because they can't see that there's two sides here. They only see the one side, and their side is the only side. That's it. That's all that it can be. The other side, there's no way that could possibly work. There's no way you're going to get anything from that. There's no way. And I'm going to say, yeah, there's no way you're going to get on the, I will state this. This is something that I do know. If you're on the one side of being more authoritative I'll get that word at some point. If you're on the extreme of that, you will get success with getting the dog to obey. You will. If you're on the extreme side of permissiveness, you're not going to get a dog to obey. I don't know. I don't believe that. I don't believe that you can't have a lick of zero boundaries, never saying no, allowing it to just do whatever it wants, when it wants. I don't think that you will ever get a living being to be able to be wanting to listen to a single thing that you have to say if you are on the extreme side of that. So that's why I can say this is how these people's minds work. It's one or the other. So I can say that's where they're coming from with stating, okay, yeah, I know it is not going to work. I don't think that it'll work. I may have to do a trial and a theory to see if it works, but I don't think it's going to work. If I just said, go do what you want to do and whatever, the dog's going to have no care to want to talk to me. It's going to go get its own food when it feels like getting it. It's just going to go take off and chase whatever it wants when it wants. It's going to come back home whenever it feels like it. You're going to, that's kind of in reality straight up how we used to, in reality, had dogs years and years and years ago. But what we're doing today is introducing them, bringing them into our homes and living with them and driving with them. Whereas before, most of these dogs that I'm talking like this were just, they're backyard dogs. They weren't in our lives. They were just dogs that are around. So yeah, you may get some success that the dog is going to come back to get food. But as far as, hey buddy, will you come here? The dog's like, what's in it for me? You going to give me something? You going to do something for me? And that's where the unfortunate thing is, that's how dog training is almost set up to be. One side of it is so permissive. Everything the dog does, give the dog the treat, give the dog the affection, give the dog the praise for every little thing that the dog does. Oh, the dog looked at you. Oh, good girl, good, good, give it a treat. Oh, the dog sat. Oh, good job, give it a treat. Oh, the dog didn't chew my face off. Oh, good job, give the dog a treat. So in that sense, you're on the extreme of one side. That's why most people at the end of the day on that side are not getting any results, not getting anything done. But this isn't reality. That's a fake, controlled, manipulative setup. The reality is we're all wanting to get to the middle, a middle ground. That's why most people fail with no matter what sides of these training methods you're doing. One side I'll say is Ophi, get off me, girl. I'm not doing the begging thing right now. You can get off me. Well, one side of it is saying, Ophi, I'm saying get off me, girl. I'm gonna push you away. One side of it is saying, what was I saying? Give it all the treats. And then the other side is saying, so what is it called? The purely force-free side is saying, give it all the treats. And then the completely other side is saying, slap the collar on and let me soften up my language a little bit to stop getting in everybody's feelings. But putting a leash on to do controlled influence to get the dog to want to listen to you. And the thing is, there is what I want to say is a happy medium. A happy medium is where I fall in. I'm going to fall into that happy medium. I'm going to use praise and treats when I need it. I'm going to use a more authoritarian. I said no. I said, get off me right now to her. I didn't give her a choice. I didn't say, oh, please sweep. No, I said, get off of me. Get off me. I want my space right now. The same way she does that to me. This is the thing. When you watch especially dogs, but all the animals, they do this. In the wintertime, I think I got a video of it. I'm not sure if I do. But in the wintertime, this dog here is cold out here. She's trying to curl up next to all the dogs. And they're like, girl, get off of me. Like, for one, they're already probably warm. They got the coat to be able to stay outside, even though, my cold is like 40, 50 degrees. It's like 60 something today, which weirdly chilly again. But it's not cold, but she's cold. She's an inside dog. And she warms up to them and the dog literally gets up, looks at her. I mean, Shadow's even shown teeth at her once of like, girl, get off of me. Because he got up to move and she got up to move with him. He got up to move, she got to move with, she kept doing that. And he just looked at her, he threw teeth at her, and then she's like, oh, well, okay, well, I'll back up. I'm sorry. It's a natural way of being. It's a natural thing in these lanes. But it doesn't mean that that's what that dog is all the time. He needed that in that moment to be able to get what he needed. We're balancing here. We're not focused on one over here and one over there. That's the unfortunate thing of why, like all of the say dog training, when people are struggling to the point that they don't know what to do, you're not getting any success because you can't keep up with one side or the other. You can keep up with the middle ground. You can keep up with that style. And that style is what so-called balance training tries to say it is, and it's not. That's not what balance training represents. It doesn't equate to being in a normal, healthy, straight, doing nothing type situation. It's always about doing extra and doing more. You get your dog to sit. This is the thing that I'm struggling with not struggling with, but let me say it just like that. This is the thing that I've realized that doesn't work with Johnny when I'm doing certain things, and why this dog is much, much, much better around all and any distractions. Because all I would do was put this dog on a leash, this Dalmatian here. All I did was put her on a leash. I didn't expect anything. I didn't say down, sit, here, wait. I didn't say nothing. All I said was, we're not dancing on this leash. But for Johnny, I'd put him in the same scenarios and I would tell him to down. But his down is based on what he taught and was learned it through balanced dog training. You better or else. Because when I say down to him, he gives me those eyes like, man, because he knows he's stuck. He knows he can't get up. Because if he gets up, something's going to happen that I'm going to force him to get right back down again. And it doesn't matter if it's a treat or if it's a leash, but balanced training represents you're going to use the leash to get the dog back down. So he knows something in there. So here's the issue that I'm having with getting him to say get as good as what she is as fast as I've been able to get this dog, because I've been using that down on him. It forces him to be, that's the word I'll use there. He's forced to have to lay down there. I'm not giving him a choice. I'm not giving him an option. So he's not actually getting neutral to the situation. He's just obeying a command or else. He's not getting to be able to self-regulate his emotions. He's already being suppressed because I'm suppressing his emotions, saying you better, but be cool with this environment. It's not going to work. It's like I don't know how to explain it, but I see this in my life that it just doesn't work. It could give you something that looks pretty good. That's why every one of my first videos, my dogs were in a downstay in all those videos because I needed it. I could not have these dogs walking around, especially Johnny. I just couldn't have him walking around. And if I did, this is why I might make some videos of my own self watching my dogs in those videos and pointing out the things that I see when I watch those videos now. At that time, in reality, straight up, I didn't care. I didn't care that my dog was sad looking. I didn't care that my dog had this pout look to him. I said, buddy, I said to do what I tell you to do. But that's what he's doing. He has this look on him, and he has this, every time I would call the dog, he would always just hesitant, and he would walk with his head way down. He would do that in every one of my videos that I did a year ago. Yeah, pretty much a year ago and before. He was always like that. And I had him to get cool with my environment, cool with being around the animals, cool with being around the cows when he's in that downstay. But he never actually got neutral. He was only just forced under my command to have this false illusion of neutral. Because once I would say free, okay, release, he's right back to savage. I mean, it's instant, right back to crazy. It's fascinating to see on how I can tell him to down. And then when I say, okay, this dude runs, he gallops and sprints because he's not actually calm. I'm dictating to him what I want. But there's a medium balance here. I'm not going to go to the point of just giving him treats all day to say, please stay here, please stay here. I'm not going to the point of saying, you better or else, because I'm going to use this obedience cue on him. I'm going to a happy medium of saying, I'm going to use this leash and I'm going to contain you. I'm going to contain you. And we're going to stay here until you relax and you calm down. This is the part that it's not for me personally, it's not no 5-minute fix. Some stuff, yeah, I can be able to do, but it's not a 5-minute fix I'm ever looking for. I'm looking for a long term, a very long term, like the longest game possible. I want to know that the work I put in on this Dalmatian coming up, so in May, she'll be 2 years old. I'm hoping that in the next May, in the 20th that she turns 3 years old, that I have a dog that I'm going to look at and I'm going to say, wow, we good for years, because I now understand you with what boundaries we have in place. She now understands me with what boundaries I put in place. So there's something straight up that I've been, this may sound messed up. I'm going deep a little bit with working with my dogs and trying to figure things out. She doesn't like her feet touched. She's one of those dogs that when you want to cut her nails, she's looking at you like, buddy, don't touch these feet. So I straight up look at this dog and say, you don't want me to touch your feet? Then cut your own nails. Go do what you got to do. Because I don't cut my Pyrenees nails. I don't cut my Border Collie's nails. I don't know why. They do something. They bite them. I don't know what they do, but they maintain, they do their own maintenance. So I say, you don't want me to touch your nails? Touch your feet? Make it happen. Do it on your own. If you can't do it on your own, then I'm going to have to assist you. You may not like it that I'm going to do it, but we got to do it because we got to get it done. We can't let them get too long. We got to make something happen here. And these are the concepts that I'm learning on me and her moving back and forth, that I understand what she doesn't like. And she understands what I don't like. We both have boundaries, and I'm going to respect her boundaries, and she's better than they'll respect mine as well the same way. But it comes down to back and forth, us both respecting each other, not me just saying you better or else. That's where this dog is easy to be able to recognize when you're disrespecting her, because she'll show teeth. They had that classic, it's not even gonna lie, it is kind of cute looking because they do it in an appeasement way. They're trying to be like, oh, please leave me alone, but they can't control that reflex, that reflex of like showing teeth of like, I don't like what's going on right now. And she'll do that. And when I see her do that, I stop and I freeze and I look at her. I'm like, what's going on? It's helped me be able to look at all my other dogs completely differently, because she's just she can't hide her emotions. This is the thing. Something that Robert says that I didn't understand it until I literally was like deep in working with this dog. And because I said this, I think in a video, I'm not sure if I posted it or not, but trying to find someone to help me work with my dogs. You take the dog for a little bit. It's hard for me to trust another human. It is. It's hard to trust a human, but to trust a dog is easy because they don't lie. They tell me and they show me. They do everything real time, up front, in the moment, what's going on with them. And she's the one that's super expressive on letting me know in that instant, I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing right now. What am I doing? Let me stop. Let me assess. Let me figure this out. And we work back and forth with that. This is the part that, again, on the side, this is where I'm swinging between permissive and I'm swinging between authoritative. I'm swinging between the two. I'm giving options, and I'm also saying you're not getting an option. I'm swinging between the two. This is where the healthy, happy medium is. It's not on one side or the other side. This is the dog fight war. One side is like, we're all right. You guys are wrong. You guys are using prong collars. You guys are using slip leashes. You guys are using e-collars. You shouldn't need to do that. And then you see, I'm sorry. Then you see the dogs from the guys that are talking about only give the dog a treat. And the guys that are only using prong collars, slip leashes are looking at those dogs saying, I don't want my dog like that. Like that's not the word I want to use here is under control in my eyes. The dog is just, it has zero like care to want to listen to a single thing at all. And I get that. I totally understand that. And then the other side of it says, well, look at your dog. Your dog is nervous. Your dog is anxious. Your dog is this. And as a, I don't know how to say it this way, but just general, I don't want to generalize because I'm going to get in all kinds of peoples by saying what I was just going to say. Whatever. We just going with it. Most of the dogs that are trained that way do have that nervousness to them. Do have that, oh, what's going to happen if I don't? What's going to happen if I mess up? That they are best case scenario, self-correcting themselves, but they're correcting themselves in a way of knowing that they're trying to avoid or escape, knowing that some sort of punishment or correction is coming. So those dogs are going to have that like extra like, what's going on? What's happening behind me? As opposed to a dog that has never had that in its entire life. You can't have the extremes here. You got to sit in the middle. But they don't want you to sit in the middle for some reason. It's almost like information like that is like, oh, sorry, that scared me for a second. You want to swing it, sit in this, as if the middle is like an inappropriate place to be. And straight up, this might sound messed up. This has been my life since I can remember. It's different today. But when I was a little baby child, I was that one that was different. That don't go that lane. But that lane over there is fine. But look at that. That thing right there, that's weird. That's almost a word I want to use here. Nasty in a way. That right there is unacceptable. You can't be in the middle. You got to pick a side. You got to choose where you want to go. Because back when I was a baby child, a black woman being with a white, that was even worse. A black woman being with a white man. But a white woman being with a black man was like very frowned upon. Very frowned upon, unfortunately. But unfortunately, it was very frowned upon. So we had to pick a side. We had to choose. You had to choose to stay over there or to stay over there. And nowadays, all these same methods are working with pretty much everything, even your political stance. If you're on the red side, you better be there. Don't ever agree with anything that the blue side says. Even though a lot of the stuff the blue side says, you're like, I like that. I want to get on board with that. It's the extremes on both sides. And unfortunately today, everything that we have, not everything, but everything that we have is on the extremes of both sides. It's on the extremes. It's even like right there. That's the part where I'm not on the extreme of you better or else that I said so. She chewed on it a little bit. Oriole chewed on it a little bit. I'm just going to say, we're not doing that. I'm not going anything extra than that. As on the other side of that, being super permissive, if she would have chewed on it, oh, baby, you want that? Just take it. Just take what you want. Take it. It doesn't matter. Just go ahead and have it. That's the part that I see that most people are struggling right now with. You're not able to find that middle ground. And that's what I talk about, the middle ground. And the middle ground is not coming down to a, say, technique. It's a theory. It's a concept. It's something that you need to implement in your own self. The main thing, video after video after video that I need to keep talking about is something that unfortunately it seems like most people don't have, which is boundaries and habits to how to keep healthy boundaries, how to set boundaries, how to know that you are not going to, this is something that happens when you're in a traumatic relationship, that you start to feel bad. You feel guilty for having a boundary. You feel like you're being mean. You're disrespecting somebody if you have a boundary. No, you need to maintain boundaries. This is something crucial for young ladies to learn about. This is crucial for me to teach my little daughter right now. A healthy boundary, no. It's no. And don't think that, but he's not going to like me if I say no. You're going to say no. You have to say no. You can't just allow someone to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. That's unhealthy. That's destructive. And a lot of us, we get in this, 'cause I've been in this. I didn't ever want to say no to people. I'm like, oh, just slap me around. It's okay. And I've been that. I've been that way. I've been that soft guy that would just let a girl just put hands on me. And I'm just like, she didn't mean it. And then wake up the next day and it happened again. Wake up the next day and it happened again. And year after year after year after year, it still just kept happening. Until the day that I said, I'm done. I got to go. I got to get out of here. I can't do this. But the dog doesn't get a chance to just get out and run away and don't want to do this. We as humans do. But what happens is we as humans, we get out of that. And then what do? We stay in this, go on the extremes. We go super soft and submissive, or we go super strong and dominant. We don't go to the middle where we need to be. We were told and force-fed to get out of a healthy, normal medium. We get traumatized to the point that we pick a side. That person was dominant, so I need to be submissive. That person's submissive, so I need to be dominant. That was me. I felt like I was submissive in a relationships with women that were very dominant. And so for me, I was like, well, I'm going to be dominant now. I'm never going to allow that to happen again. So I was on extreme. On extreme. That's what my border collie represents, how extreme I was. He is authoritative. He is authoritarian. He is a dictator. He is an enforcer. He is, I said so, or else, to the point of I might even try to take your life if you don't want to listen to me. That's who he is. That's who he was raised by, me. That's how I was. But I realized I can't stay in that. I can't do that. That's not what's the word I want to use is healthy. What's healthy is being in the middle. And it's boring. It's not flashy. It's not exciting. It's not all like the cameras and the lights in it. No, it's something that when I'm showing updates and progress with working with my dogs, it looks like this right now. We're sitting here hanging out. It's nothing like extravagant. It's so boring looking, but that's what you're actually looking for. You're not looking for this exciting rampage, this fun, this, oh my goodness, look how this dog is biting on this thing. You want the most boringest experience ever. That is healthy. And unfortunately, most of us don't even realize that is what is healthy. We think that it's the overexcitement. You're looking for that over and over and over again. So that's why you're looking towards, say, a more super permissive style dog training, because you're like, you want it fun. And then you run into a scenario that you're like, what's going on? This is starting to become a tragedy. This is starting to become like so hostile to me. This dog is just running and ruling me. You can't do that in the sense of trying to like basically heal yourself in an inappropriate way. You need to heal yourself in a healthy manner, knowing that there's some stuff that all of us need to work on. And that's what I like to talk about. The things of the habits that we should be building with our dogs to be able to get them to be in a good place. Not worrying about the next technique, the next least thing to do. How to be able to put a boundary in place of saying no. and sticking to it, no matter what. Your feelings are going to get all in the middle of it. They are. This is the part where someone could say this is where the one swing side of, say, a super permissive style dog training is going to go completely against. Something as simple as taking the dog and having it on leash and putting it in somewhere where it's uncomfortable, where it's in fear. They're like, oh no, don't put the dog through that. But that is what the dog needs. That's what the dog has to deal with. It has to go in it. It has to be able to be neutral to it. It has to be able to experience it. It can't keep running away from it. And that's why you're wondering, why isn't this working? Because there's something in you that's blocking you from allowing it to happen. Because you're like, you start to get attached in these feelings of, oh, they're not gonna like me because I put this boundary in place. They're gonna wanna not wanna be around me. The more boundaries, what is a good movie? Overboard. It's an older movie. It's a phenomenal finish of that movie. Just watch it. Watch Overboard. But the concept of the more structure, the more boundaries, the more, I don't even want to use the word structure because I realize that don't matter. I feed my dogs when I feed my dogs. Nothing's on a game plan with that. But there's one thing that's on the game plan. When I said no, it's no. It's no. 100% of the time. When I say we're not doing this, we're not doing this. 100% of the time. And then once we really understand, I can maybe try to bring some in again. But for me personally, I'm trying to stay in that middle ground. So there's times that I let my dog jump on me and I'm gonna say I'm being soft. There's times that I'm saying, no, get off me. Like earlier, I said, no, get off me. I'm being firm about that. So yes, am I being dominant? Yes. But at the same time, am I being submissive? Yes. All at the same time. Because that's what real life is. Real life isn't, I'm dominant, I gotta just stick to this. I'm gonna stay on it. No, that's silly. That's so silly. Thank you. You sitting there acting like you all cold, girl. You gotta stay out here even more. But here's the thing. Every time I speak, anything changes, anything goes on, these dogs go right back to, all they're doing right now is hounding me because they want that. But I said no. No. I don't care what changes. I don't care what I speak to you. I don't care what I say to you. I don't care about nothing. They're pushing. These dogs right now are pushing my boundary right now. They're pushing it hard. They're saying, this is the part where respect is earned. It's not guaranteed. Boundaries create respect, in my opinion. And it may not even just be my opinion, but let's just say my opinion. Boundaries are what bring respect. It's because I'm saying this, you're not doing that right now. And the dog says, okay, I got you. But at the same time, the dog has things that it's saying, don't do that to me. And I'm just like, okay. And then we work back and forth. In my mind, that's how I see a healthy relationship being. And all the research that I'm constantly keep doing is because I've been living hostile my whole life and trying to figure out how to get out of it. And I'm finally getting to a point that I'm starting to see the boring, the everyday, it's consistent. One day, I used to be bad, literally like hour to hour. I could go from I want to kill myself to the next hour I'm ready to party and go have fun. The next hour I'm done with the business. The next hour I'm ready to start a whole nother new one. The next hour I'm back to the old business again. I just back and forth. And it was just, it was hard. But people around me, they liked it because they were like, oh, this guy is exciting. This guy is like, he's up. And that's not what, when I realized, when someone called me boring, I said, I appreciate you. I appreciate that. That's what I like to hear. When I hear someone saying that you're so exciting and I can never know what to expect with you, I got things I need to work on. I got a lot that I need to work on. And someone has stated that to me recently. And I'm like, I still got some things that I still need to work on because I want to be boring as all can be. I want to be just normal, relaxed, chill, and just stable as the words. I want to be right there. I don't want to go anymore. And I found that by, one, delayed gratification, putting boundaries in place with my own self even, and saying, you're doing this and you don't get a choice, and following through with it and realizing that your own self-talk is there to try to sabotage you, but it can sit there and you can use it and utilize it to be able to help you and make it disappear is my game plan that I'm working on in life. It's saying, I don't need you. I'm good. I can handle this myself now. You helped me or you got me to where I am. Now I'm headed on a different mission of being able to, what I want to call is living in peace. And peace is consistency. Peace isn't sporadic roller coaster rides. That's not peace and harmony. Peace and harmony is the stillness of the lake that's so calm that it's creepy looking on how there's not a single wave in it. That's peace. Peace. That's what, unfortunately, most dog training doesn't give because they're focused on one side or the other side. Peace can't be found that way. It needs to be found right in the middle.